Hello Ramen Nation, Chris Cobain here bringing you another Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle. As you can see by my team real quick, just pointing out that I'm actually running another multi-gen team. I introduced the concept to you guys, I believe, last video where it's one Pokemon from each generation. Obviously my opponent is not, that's okay. I don't force my viewers to bring a multi-gen team. I just wanted to point out mine is, you know, for continuity's sake. In order, because the layout has a couple of them mixed up, but in order of the gens, it's obviously Jolteon, Espeon, Ludicolo, Drapion, Klinklang, and Furfrou. My opponent is running Snorlax, Superior, Bisharp, Tyranitar, Florges, and Bastiodon, so he's got a couple really decent OU staples in there with Bisharp and the Mega T-Tar. He's got the Superior, which actually moved to Borderline 1, even though I don't think it should have moved out of RU, but that's a topic for another day. He's got some big threats in there, obviously. The lead, though, is unmistakably going to be that Bastiodon because, well, it's Bastiodon, you know. Sturdy Metal Burst, Stealth Rock, all that other fun stuff that he can actually do. So, my lead ends up being Jolteon. When I'm running the Jolteon Espeon core the way that I am, I really like to lead off with Jolteon and try to Volt Switch into Espeon to try to get like a magic bounce on the Stealth Rocks. It doesn't always work. I get some people sometimes, and a lot of times it costs me Espeon actually. But actually turn when he goes for Magic Coat, which actually reflects status moves. So I don't know if he predicted me to like Thunder Wave. Obviously it wouldn't work because I'm a Jolteon. Can't get paralyzed. But I don't know if he was predicting something along those lines. But either way, it does allow me a free switch on the Volt Switch, and I am able to go into Drapion. Drapion is Earthquake, he's sturdy's broken. I'm confident that this thing's going to get smacked by it, so I just go ahead and go straight for that EQ. But unfortunately for me, he actually lives with very little health and carries the counter instead of the Metal Burst, and I'm dead. Which really sucks. I could have easily set up Swords Dance, and I probably should have, knowing that I could live one Earthquake, and then went for it. But I didn't want to get too cocky with some of the stuff he had on the field, and it cost me really, so there's that. But either way, I can just bring out Jolteon real quick, Volt Switch right back out, same kind of deal, and that, you know, oh well. The loss of Drapion is actually a really big deal at this point already. His two OU Pokemon are both dark, so I can resist their main stabs, you know, Bisharp, Sucker Punch, and that kind of stuff. I'm going to bring out Espeon. Now, at this point, I'm just trying to do whatever I can to try to cripple these, like, Bisharp's a powerhouse, and I'm scared of it. So what I actually do, I go for Dazzling Gleam in the face of a Sucker Punch because I actually predicted him to go for Swords Dance because there isn't a whole lot that any Espeon's going to do to a Bisharp, so I figured maybe he'd do it predicting a switch. Maybe I could get him on it, get some damage. Unfortunately, he just goes for the knockoff and kills me, which, again, you know, sucks. So, I'm just going to bring out Steampunk here, go for the Wild Charge. But it doesn't kill. So right now, as he goes for knockoff, he's going to die to his Life Orb. I barely lived that attack. Right now, I'm just kind of playing fast. I'm not really thinking about my moves beforehand. It's costing me a couple Pokemon here and there, which really sucks. But I did get rid of the Bisharp, so I mean, that's a thing, right? He's going to go into a Superior. This is an easy switch. Leaf Storm for free, +2. Let's go. That's obvious. So that's a good play by him, and I'm losing Pokemon left and right here for no really good reason, which is kind of unfortunate. I got to bring myself back into this somehow. So he's actually going to go for Dragon Pulse. I'm not 100% positive why. Leaf Storm obviously is a better decision all around, but I'm not sure what the thought process was there. But he did go for Dragon Pulse. I'm going to get an Ice Beam off. It's almost a 2-hit KO, just barely missing. And I'm pretty certain that I can live a +2 Leaf Storm, which is what he's going for. And I do live it seriously badly, like no HP, 24, and I get another Ice Beam off. And at this point, I know I'm probably dead. But then I can bring in Jolteon Revenge Kill. But I get the Freeze, which I get frozen every single day on my stream. By everything. I've been frozen by Freeze Dry, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, you name it. I've been frozen by it. I actually got Freeze Axe back, and these are a big deal. So I'm playing, since I was going to lose him anyway, I'm going a little bit risky. I'm not going straight for the kill. I'm going to Synthesis back up and try to get myself going again. Because if I die on this before I can really do anything to Florges, Florges is going to be a ginormous problem. I want to do some damage to Florges with this Ludicolo. Preferably burn it. And he does actually switch right out into Florges, which is completely fine by me. I went for Ice Beam because obviously I don't want to go for anything else. Scald would be a ridiculous move because it would unthaw him and I'd probably die. But you know. So that does absolutely nothing to Florges, and at this point on that switch, I immediately thought aromatherapy. Otherwise, you wouldn't really want to switch in and risk maybe another freeze or risk me burning with Scald or something like that. So he does end up going for the aromatherapy. Like I said, pretty obvious at that point, which is okay. Superior's at low HP. It's pretty easy to take out sooner or later. So I'm going to go for Scald as he goes for the aromatherapy. I do get the burn, so I'm getting some RNG here for my side. The freeze, the burn, really helpful, and that burn becomes a actual really big deal right now because what it's going to do is it's going to force Florges to aromatherapy again, and I'm going to get a free switch into Furfrou, which is really, at this point, the only thing that's going to threaten this Florges in any way, shape, or form. Since I don't carry Leech Seed and Ludicolo. So, as I do the switch, I get the right call there. I was worried he would Moonblast, but I do get the correct play, and I get a free switch in. Now, Furfrou is a defensive wall, but hits really hard with, or harder than you expect with Return Anyway with no attack investment. As you're going to see there, it's almost 50% to a Florges, which obviously Florges is a special defensive wall, but it does have doable defensive block for sure. So, he's going to go for Wish. I know he's got Moonblast, he's got the Wish, he's revealed the Aroma. I was worried about Protect. He didn't go for it there, but I wasn't sure if it was because he knew he'd live it, or maybe he didn't have it. He doesn't go for Moonblast. It is a 3-hit KO, so right now I'm actually in a pretty decent position with this, as long as, you know, I can take it out here. So Wish is going to put him back at a really good HP. We're just going to keep going back and forth here. I'm going to return again. It does a really good chunk of damage. He's going to Wish again, but even after leftovers, he won't be able to live another return. He's going to have to Protect here, or his Florges is eliminated. Unfortunately for me, I guess he didn't carry the Protect. I'm assuming his last move would have been Giga Drain, but that's, you know, it could have been Toxic. I don't know. Either way, Florges goes down. So now he's going to re-bring out Superior. That man's got to make a T-Tar in the back. He's got a Snorlax. No way am I going to risk losing, you know, Furfrou right there. Definitely need to switch. Take the Leaf Storm on Ludicolo. Unfortunately, after the +2 boost, Ludicolo is not going to be able to live another Leaf Storm. So I'm forced to lose him here. And actually, this becomes a ginormous problem. As you'll see later, the aromatherapy to unthaw him became a huge factor because I had to waste Ludicolo, and you'll see why here in a minute. So I'm going to bring out Jolteon here. Again, I know his only 2 Pokemon after this are the Mega T-Turn and the Lax, so I know that Furfrou is a good choice for both of them. Jolteon's not going to do a ton to either. They're both very bulky, especially even without a lot of investment, so I'm going to go and just Volt Switch out and take down the Superior, making it a 2-on-2, and actually a 2-on-2 I'm fairly confident in when I still have Furfrou on the back at really good HP. So I switch into Furfrou. His first Pokemon he wants to, you know, take a go with is going to be T-Tar. T-Tar's a good choice. It's got that Sandstream. Even if he doesn't do a lot of damage, the progressive hits from the Sandstorm will rack up. But obviously now that I'm in Furfrou and he's got 2 really bulky physical attackers left, that this is going to become somewhat stally at this point because I can't really take either of them out with any kind of quickness. Especially this, I'm going to have to just rely on Toxic really to take this out. So I'm going to set up the +3 with Cotton Guard. He goes for Earthquake, does absolute garbage. In fact, Sandstorm might have done more. And on the second turn, I'm just going to go ahead and go for Toxic. Like I said, this is really the only way I'm going to do anything to this Tyranitar. And he actually reveals Dragon Dance, which could be a ginormous problem if he uses it correctly. Especially when I'm at this amount of HP and I know he outspeeds me now. So at this point, I cannot risk anything. Now that he's going to outspeed me, I don't want to do, you know, any second Cotton Guarding, and I'll let him get off like 1 hit and then another one and maybe kill me with Sandstorm. So instead, I just go for Rest, play it safe here. I'm at +3 still. I'm going to get all my HP back. He's only at +2, so I'm still in a really good position at this point, and I'm not risking Furfrou, who, if he dies, I lost, you know, basically. So, at this point, when I'm at a higher defensive boost and he's an attack boost, he's still not going to do that much to me. He's going to go for the Rock Slide. To his credit, that's a pretty decent chunk of damage when I have a +1 boost over him. Tyranitar obviously is powerful. I'm positive that this one's probably just straight out max attack, adamant nature, you know, built with max HP, relies on Dragon Dance for speed. That's what I'd assume. Could be wrong, but you know, that's what I'm guessing anyway. Second Durn goes for EQ, not 100% sure why. I guess he's just trying to see what's doing more damage at this point, because it doesn't really matter. And it's obviously going to be Rock Slide with the stab and stuff, so. Alright, so he's going to go for another Rock Slide, actually get the Avoid, get the free Wake Up, get the Cotton Guard all in one turn. Nice play for me. That's maybe why he's going for Earthquake, because the accuracy is 95, but he gets the Missile, which sucks. And Toxic going to take him down to like 1 HP. And this right here is a horrible play by me. I rest when he's going to die Toxic. Now let me explain to you why this is a horrible play real quick. And my friend, most of you guys know, Ramos, will let you know, the master of the defensive Furfro, that there's no need to rest there. I'm at +6. If he's bringing out a physical attacker, it's not going to kill me. No way. And if he's bringing out a special attacker, I'm dead anyway. So, me resting there makes no sense, because what it's really going to do, instead of me being awake and able to attack this because I know it can't touch me, I'm asleep and he gets free setup, which is horrible on my part. I made a serious game-changing misplay right there. He sets up Stockpile, +1 to the defenses, and Belly Drum, +6 attack. Now, the +6 attack is not a big threat, considering that I'm +6 as well. By the way, it's got immunity. I used Toxic. I didn't really even think about that ability when I used it, and then it came up with like, oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing, which that sucks, because now I can't even wear him down. So I'm gonna return here as he goes for the rest. Now, like, if I didn't rest, or if I didn't rest on that Tyranitar, I could have gotten at least one more return on him, which would have forced him down a little bit faster. I don't know. It could have changed the course of things. Maybe he's not comfortable in setting up a stockpile. But right now, you know, I let him get the +6 on a misplay like that. But like I said, I'm still in a good position. I'm actually doing about as much as he's doing to me with Rocky Helmet alone. And he's not doing that much with Body Slam. But unfortunately, crits ignore defense boost, and he crits. And that's obviously GG. That might have been a one-hit KO, because it ignores my +6. And that's a giant problem, guys. He's at +6. He's at +1 defense. I have Jolteon. I'm Choice Specs. My only hope is to kill him with Thunderbolt. I may very well do so. I have a lot of power. But unfortunately, it was 1 HP. But I get the Paralyze! So now it's down to whether or not I can get the Paralyze. And I don't. And I die. To the Body Slam, which sucks. And that's GG. A very, very, very close 1-0. Snorlax lives paralyzed by the skin of his teeth and gets that win 1-0. Now, this game, I made some weird plays. I was okay with the Earthquake at the beginning with Drapion. I really thought it'd kill. I could have easily set up Swordsdance, though. I mean, I maybe should have, looking at the rest of his team. A Swordsdance might have been a sweep nearly, because the only thing that on his team was going to outspeed me was going to be the Superior, which could one-hit me by any stretch of the imagination. You know, I could have easily lived one Leaf Storm or Dragon Pulse or whatever the case may be, and I could have cross-poisoned his face, and that would have been GG. Could have Earthquake, Bisharp, Earthquake, the T-Tarp, you know, cross-poison the floor, could have knocked off the Lax. It could have been GG right at the beginning for me. This video could have been a Drapion sweep, honestly, but, you know, cost me. Predicted the Swords Dance, lost Espeon, cost me. Not killing the Superior actually cost me at the end there. Like I said, losing Ludicolo, big deal. Why? Because if I had Ludicolo in the bag, my first play would not have been to Thunderbolt that Snorlax. I would have Volt switched out, let Ludicolo die, then Thunderbolt it with Jolteon, and obviously that would have killed, and I would have won this battle. But you know, little things he did. The aromatherapy to unthaw the Superior, big deal. You know, just having that counter instead of Metal Burst on that Bastiodon. I don't know if Metal Burst would have killed me still. I don't know how much HP I did. You know, obviously I was at max though, so I'm assuming I would have lived one, because I did like a little over 50%. So I would assume I would have lived the Metal Burst, but he carries the counter instead, and that obviously takes me out, you know. I don't quite get the kill on the Bisharp with Wild Charge. It cost me my Clink Clang, you know. It also allows Superior to get the free +2 there, and just little stuff here and there. It just changes the game a lot, and at the end, you know, I miss, you know, by what was probably 10 HP there. But that's how it goes. That's how Pokemon goes. But either way, this is a really cool battle. I'm typically annoyed with RNG and stuff. Typically, I'd be annoyed at like a crit on my Furfrou that cost me the game, and it did cost me the game. I think we're all aware of that. You know, the only thing he could have done without that is just keep resting, and eventually, you know, I win that battle because he can't touch me. He just can't. And meanwhile, I'm actually, you know, while he's doing, I'm matching his damage with Rocky Helmet damage alone plus return, so I'm outdoing him in every facet. But it's the crit. Like I said, typically I'd be annoyed at that. I actually thought it was hilarious because when I killed the T-Tar, I was positive I had that win. You know, I was already claiming victory in the chat like a smartass, but cost me karma. So anyway, that's it for the battle, you guys. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch the video, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor and hit that like button at the bottom of the video. I'd really appreciate that. You guys can also subscribe to my YouTube if you have not done so as well. Obviously, that'd be greatly appreciated. Let you know when I bring out new content. I do so every chance I get. You know, it's typically every 4 or 5 days or so, like that, just to give you time to watch the previous video and all that good stuff. And if you guys haven't checked out my Twitch channel, you can do that too at twitch.tv/xChrisCobain. I'll throw a link in the description for you guys if you want to check it out. We stream 6 days a week, Sunday through Friday, so you got a ton of time to check me out if you haven't yet. But that is it for me, you guys, so I will see you guys in the next video.